Okay, we're going to hack a Sony W35. It's an older camera, 7.2 megapixels. We're going to get this thing hacked. So we're going to get it tore apart. I guess I better make sure not a battery in there. You don't want the battery in there. So we're going to get this thing apart. Two on the side there. I'm trying to remember if there was one in there or not. And there's one on the bottom. One up here at the top. I hope that's it. I didn't see. I thought there was. We'll take that back cover off just like that. We'll put that off to the side. And we're going to get this front off. So the front off. It's a good time when you take that front off to, if you're going to do a build, to mark off your flash and center. It makes a good template. Oops. Okay, I know there's... Okay, now I'm going to take the dial off. Just pops off, it pops back on, it's real easy. Whoops. There's a screw right here, I need to take it out. Pull that out. Pop that board a little bit. Comes out that way. Now I'm going to want to take this whole thing off. So I'm going to pop that off. I want this. Trying to get the tape off that ribbon. Which really isn't cooperating whatsoever. That way I can take my little finger nail and pop up on that ribbon. I pull that out. And this is what I want. Okay, this is what we need to get into. This is the power bar. So there's 1, 2, 3 pieces of plastic. So I need to take a X-Acto knife, and this is not exactly the safest way going towards my fingers, but we're going to take and knock his welds off. It's one. Two. Three. That's our 3 welds. So we're going to pop that up. Then we can set the top aside. This is what we want to get our little fingies to. And that's what we want right here. And that's what we're going to solder to. Okay, we'll solder one. You can see this pad right here Okay, that's one. That would be, should be power. The other one would be to the outside of the next one. Okay, we're gonna solder this to the outside of the next one. Let's shutter. So I tinned my wire and I dipped it in resin. That's why it's so quick. All I gotta do is heat it. And basically that's the hack to W35. So what I'm going to have to do now is put this thing back together. Okay, I'm going to put this thing together. I'm going to use super glue where the I took off those sonic welds. Maybe if I can get it to come out. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in there. Wires aren't cooperating. I need them in a certain spot. What I'm going to do, and you can use a clothesline clip, or I have a little plastic clip here. I'm just going to clip that back together, and I'm also make sure it's where I want it. And go back and I'm going to put a little bit where those welds were. You're going to have to let that dry. Same thing about this hack. It's the W200, W220 the same way. W55, it's these welds you got to play around. So I'll let that dry, and we'll continue to the externals. Okay, for the negative hack, positive, negative. Positive, negative. So that's what only two we need. So we'll hack into them. So we'll get the positive on. Now, I haven't had the battery in this camera for days, so I don't worry about the capacitor being charged. But if you put the battery in this camera, you're going to have to drain the capacitor. And to drain the capacitor, you're going to get those two wires right there and put a resistor, maybe, and put a resistor between the two to drain the capacitor. I do suggest doing that. Okay, we're going to finish up now the hack. Now, my glue dried, So everything's back together as far as that, but I only have 2 wires. I have shutter and power on, so I need 1 more wire. What I do, and I've taken off the USB hood, and sometimes I got myself in trouble. I know the W290 hack gave me problems when I went off the USB hood. So I usually go off the battery negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 more wire to the hack, and I'm just going to go right here to my battery, to my battery negative, and I'm going to solder that on there. So I have 2 wires coming off my battery negative. You can try the USB and stuff, but it's easier on this camera just to go from here and run 2 wires. So there's my positive for my externals, and there I have 2 wires. I'll use the white for my battery, and the black I'll use for my common. So now it's just putting it back together. Okay, I have the camera back together. I didn't show that. It's just I had to figure out where to wire, put the wires and stuff, and it's kind of hard to do that with my fingers in the way. So I just put the camera back together. I guess I didn't really explain when I did the hack to the shutter or to the power bar. I didn't say which one was which. So the brown wire was the power on. So if I touch brown with common, which I could use the black or the white, whichever I used, doesn't matter. The camera power's on. Now if I touch that with the blue wire, now if I touch common with my blue wire, which is my shutter wire, I take a picture. So brown was power, blue was shutter. Touch the 2, take a picture. To turn it back off, all I do is touch it with the brown, and my camera pals down. That's